I'm going to read the letter from the editor. So this is dedicated to Justin Vitiello, who was published by Whirlwind Press. I think his book
Poppies and Thistles.
Poppies and Thistles, or in Espanol is Amápolos y Cardos. It was published in 2006, and we have a few of those poems written in the end of this. But I'm just going to read this letter right now. Dear reader, hello, and welcome to the third issue of Whirlwind magazine. Much of this edition features writing and art created by our friends whose families originated from Latin America or Spain. Latina and Latino writing is an integral part of American literature. Spanish is a beautiful and poetic language that so often sounds smoother and lovelier than English. Our Latino sisters and brothers are essential elements to the culture of Philadelphia and Camden, the two cities which we at Whirlwind call home. This all may be obvious to some, but we feel that Latina culture is too often still marginalized. A quick note, I emphasize the use of Latino in this letter in order to indicate the magazine's views on gender equality. Some use the term Latinx in order to be inclusive of all gender identities. And we would like to recognize that as well. I know that's a mouthful, but there's some debate on the term Hispanic and whether that was largely popularized or invented by the U.S. Census Bureau. And the debate between that and the term Latino, which Courtney got in an argument, a Twitter debate with someone about that. They said, oh, why are you using Latina / O instead of just Latino? Because Latino is the catch-all, word that is used for, for that. But language is a funny thing, and surprise, surprise, we lived in a patriarchal world until the last 100 years, and we still live in a patriarchal society, and language, dictated that Latino was to be used instead of Latina. I'm going to stop ranting, and I'm going to continue with this letter. Now, admittedly, I am a novice in regards to the Spanish language. Entiendo algunos, pero nunca mucho. Hopefully, Whirlwind's new staff member, Courtney Gambrell, who's fluent in Spanish, will make sure that the preceding sentence made sense. It did. One of my favorite books in my bookcase is Pablo Neruda's The Captain's Verses, which includes every poem in both Spanish and English parallel to one another. Another favorite of mine on the poetry shelf is the late Justin Vitiello's Amápolos y Cardos, published by none other than Whirlwind Press. We have included 4 pages at the end of this issue of Vitiello's poems in the same format, Spanish on one page, English on the next. Vitiello passed away a little over a year ago. A professor at Temple University, both in Philadelphia and Rome, Vitiello was a prolific and powerful poet who bore witness to issues of social justice and human rights. Whirlwind Issue 3 is dedicated to this man who deserves the notoriety and renown that only the best of poets gain after death. On the Industrial Workers of the World website, Nathaniel Miller wrote, Vitiello was a fighter, and like all great working-class soldiers, understood that we must fight for bread and roses too. Justin organized poetry readings against the mafia in Sicily, telling me that the best way to fight hate and ignorance was simply to take a public space as collective triumph over fear. And in Philadelphia, he always stood on the picket lines. That fearless determination is his legacy. End quote. We honor Vitiello's legacy in this issue by publishing writers and artists who share his love of words and images and believe in advancing human rights and equality. From exploring the tribulations of imprisonment to acknowledging the extent of continuing imperialist oppression, Whirlwind Issue 3 welcomes you to expand your awareness along with us. as always, thank you so much for reading.